Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna. So, you're all welcome to today's program. Today's special day, Purnima. Today is Purnima, Balaram Purnima, and today is the day when Lord Balaram appears on this planet. So it's a very auspicious day, it's a very special day, and we all know that Balaram is the brother, elder brother of Lord Shri Krishna. So Balaram, being the elder brother of Lord Shri Krishna, he comes before Krishna to this earth. Because Lord Shri Krishna is very special. He is spiritual tattva, Satchidananda Vigraha. So each time he comes to this world, where there is not even a single trace of these kind of energies, where this world is surcharged with Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamagun, very low level, very low class of like energy, which this world is surcharged with. In such world, when Lord Krishna incarnates, when Lord Krishna comes, he doesn't feel good. It will not be pleasant for him. So to make sure that Lord Krishna feels good, so before Krishna, Lord Balaram would come to this world and make sure that everything is good and perfect for Lord Krishna. Right? So we are going to talk about Lord Balaram today, his glories, his achievements, what he has done, all for us. So we are going to discuss about that. Okay, so everyone knows that Lord Balaram, he is born from Devaki and Vasudeva. He is the seventh child of Devaki and Vasudeva. So when Kangsha, he prisoned his sister and brother-in-law to the jail, he was thinking that he's going to kill all their children. Why? Because the eighth child, is going to kill his maternal uncle, Kangsha. So he was worried, oh my God, they're going to give a child, eighth child, who is going to kill himself. So he became so angry, and as his demoniac nature, he thought, oh, if I end the source of like my death, then I'll be saved. So he wanted to kill Devaki immediately, actually. But then Vasudeva, as he was so diplomatic, he said, come on, your sister is so weak, not as strong as you. And then he said, like, I'm also like, I also promise, don't take my wife's life. And I promise that every child is born, I will submit to you. You can put us in custody, and then make sure that we will not harm you. So at least spare our life. So that was very diplomatic. But then Vasudeva knew that his son is going to kill this demon, Kangsha. Nobody liked him. So the first six children, they were like killed. They were killed one by one by by Kangsha. And each time they used to like feel really bad. But then of course, like these children, they were like in previous lives, they were like cursed to be like killed. So then of course they are liberated by getting into all these things. But then the seventh child became like a little tricky. The seventh child was Balaram. But then Balaram was exchanged to Rohini, right, in Gokul. The Rohini is also another wife of Vasudeva. And Vasudeva, like Balaram, was sent to Rohini, and from Rohini there was Yogamaya, Subhadra, who is like born, in the womb of Rohini. So they were exchanged. So Balaram already went to Rohini, and then Yogamaya came as the child of Devaki. So when Kangsha came, hearing that, oh, the seventh child is born, so then Kamsa was about to kill that child, and then Yogamaya, she skipped from his hand and showed her roop, Durga roop, and said, ha 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 ha, Kamsa, how dare you think that you can kill everybody, So then she just like said, soon there will be the next person who is going to be born will kill you. So then Kamsa was surprised. Now we can also like think, if the eighth child of Kamsa is going to, eighth child of like Devaki is going to kill Kamsa, then why is he killing from the number one? He could have waited for the eighth child and killed that child only, and then that's it. But then there is a role of Narad Muni there. Narad Muni comes to Kamsa, and then because they had to do all this lila, Narad Muni comes to Kamsa and says, see, 8. 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you put these children in circle, who is number 8? You cannot tell. Like all these kind of tricky things he would say, and then Kamsa is inspired to kill them all. But anyway, the 8th child is born. So as soon as the 8th child is born, Kamsa is sleeping, the whole world is sleeping, then Vasudeva transfers Krishna, to the womb, to Yashodamai, and then protects him. Then we all know that story. But then today, we're going to focus on the Balaram. Right? So, Balaram, he is like famous. Srila Prabhupada would translate his name as 2 words, Bala and Rama. Bala means strength, powerful. And Rama means always happy, giving pleasure to everybody. So Balaram is the personality who gives like happiness and strength to everybody. In our Hindu custom, in the Hindu tradition, Balaram Purnima is observed so that the person becomes healthy, powerful, and at the same time happy. They put the fasting. But then for devotees, it's a different day. We want like mercy from the Lord. Why? Because Balaram is Guru Tattva. Without Balaram's mercy, we cannot understand Krishna. So from Krishna, from his right side appears Baladev. From his left side appears Radharani. So Radharani, she resembles the Ladini Shakti, the pleasure potency, the Madhurya potency. Whereas Balaram represents the Aishwarya potency, which is Sat and Chid, or Samvit, or Sandhini Shakti. Right? He represents that. So basically, what happens is Balaram prepares everything, all the creation of spiritual world and material world. And then the Ladini Shakti dances over all this like energy and then gives pleasure to Lord Krishna. So this is the perfect combination. And from Balaram, 5 other expansion happens. Of course, like our acharyas, sages, they have in many places, they have like described this 5 energy as different. Somebody says it's Chaturbhyuha, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudev. And somebody says the 5th one is Sadashiv, and somewhere it is also described that it's Seshanag. So anyway, no matter who they are, the whole purpose is to help Lord Shri Krishna in his creation, in his pastimes. So this is how Balaram expands. So when Balaram expands himself as the energy of Aishwarya, so if you see the spiritual world, the platform is Suddha Sattva, right? Or Sandhini Shakti, the platform. Just like the floor we are sitting on is a platform. If there is no floor, what will happen to us? If there is no platform, we'll all fall down, right? So anything to exist, we need platform. So in spiritual world, the whole platform is made up of Suddha Sattva, that is Sandhini Shakti, that Balaram arranges. And the whole planetary systems, the whole existence in the spiritual world is this Aishwarya, right, which is Chid Shakti, and Madhurya, which is the Ananda Shakti. right? These are the two poles. Now, Goloka Vrindavan takes the extreme Ladini Shakti or bliss Shakti. And Vaikuntha planets takes the extreme of Aishwarya Shakti. So you can see, in Vaikuntha planets, there is Lakshmi and Narayan. And the mode of worship is tung, 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 Jaya Jagadisa Hare. Lakshmi Narayan is sitting on top, like on the throne, and then devotees from here, and there is awe and reverence more than love. So there is respect, there is like worship, there is everything, there is glory in Vaikuntha planets. Whereas if you go to Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna is in family mood, he's going around like playing with, friends and his girlfriends and calves. And he's not even wearing like proper uniform, He's just wearing pitambar dhoti, the half is naked. Just having mayurpank instead of having like a golden, crown and all. He doesn't care. There is no opulence in Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada actually wanted us to like give Krishna in that mood, right? Mood of Madhurya. But then he knows that we are all attracted. We are all attracted by the opulences, right? When we come to any temple, if the temple is like a simple place, like a hut, straw hut or something, and then there is a simple deity of Krishna who is not wearing anything, just like a half-naked thing, and then pitambar, I don't think we'll be really interested to visit that temple. But for us, temple has to be opulent. When we come inside the temple, you can see carvings and all these, which is very unusual. It's not like what we have that at home, simple. No, we want something complex, something gorgeous, And then Prabhupada also gave us the system that Radha and Krishna, even though they are Radha and Krishna, even though they are Krishna and Balaram, who is in Madhurya Ras, they should be worshipped in Vaikuntha mode. Now look at their dress. Ooh, such a carving, these embroideries and this and that and decorations. So actually, to attract stupid living entities like us requires opulence. And then in this material world, we worship opulence. There? If a rich person comes, ooh, everyone worships. I was worried, there are a few rich people on this earth, richest, most of them comes from America. And back there in our countries, whatever they speak becomes the lesson of life. Even though they are not intellectual people. Just because they have lots of money. Whatever they said becomes ooh, the guidelines for the life. Whereas intellectual people may not be rich. They are rich in their intellect, in their intelligence, but nobody cares. So that's why when we are attracted to the opulence, we are given this system that opulence attracts, and then eventually we're supposed to understand the Madhurya, the bliss. Right? And then you can see the rest of the planets are the gradation of this opulence and Madhurya. So if you come down to next is Mathura. In Mathura, there's a little bit of opulence and more of a Madhurya. If you come to Dwarka, there is even more increased. So you can see in Goloka Vrindavan, Radharani, she would dare to make Krishna. She can show her anger to Krishna. This black guy, I'm not going to talk with him today, because I don't like him. That's called man. I will not talk to him, like that. But Rukmini, who is in Dwarka, would not dare to do that because of awe and reverence. So if you come to Ayodhya, it's something like 50-50. Sita Maharani sometimes would force Ram, I want that golden deer, please, my dear, please bring that deer. And then other times she's very, very, obedient. So it's kind of a mixture. And then when you see Lakshmi with Narayan, she will not dare to even look at his face. Lakshmi said, oh, I'm always at your lotus feet. So that Lord Vishnu himself has to tell, no, you are living on my chest. He has to bring, because of the awe and reverence. So these are the gradation, how it is made in spiritual world. And all these things are arranged by Balaram, his Shakti. Right? And not only that, when Krishna desired a different world called material world, which we are living in, for the living entities who wants to enjoy without Krishna. Balaram also made this world with the external energy, which is called Bahiranga Shakti, right? And made this material world. And in this material world, to arrange everything, Lord Balaram, he expands as this Chaturbhya, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudev. From Sankarshan comes Mahavishnu. And from Mahavishnu, this material, creation of this material, maintenance of this material world, and annihilation, it starts there. So from Mahavishnu, from his pore, whenever he's breathing out, the universes comes. And in each universes, in each universe, he expands himself as Garvadukshai Vishnu. Most of the Hindu, we worship like Garvadukshai Vishnu. If you see, he's sleeping, he's lying down on the Sesnag, and Lakshmi is, pressing his lotus feet. That's Garvadukshai Vishnu in Garvadoka ocean, right? And then from Garvadukshai Vishnu, from his navel, comes the lotus flower. And the lotus flower, Brahma is created. And Brahma is created through the energy of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Now Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the further expansion of Vishnu as in the form of Paramatma, who invades each and everything in this material world. Not only like living entity, but every atom, Paramatma goes in. Like today in modern science, they ask questions. Where does the energy of electron comes? Yeah, electron comes, which is like revolving proton and proton and neutron continuously. Where does that continuous energy comes? One of the very simple answer is because of the Paramatma, energy of the Paramatma, which is going on. So he invades everything. Means Paramatma is the localized form of Lord Vishnu. So this is how Balaram, he creates everything in this world. So when he becomes like the Lord of everything, to utilize or to use or misuse or anything, right? We are supposed to pray to Lord Balaram. He's so important. Sometimes Prabhupada would pose this question, who is the God, Krishna or Balaram? Then his disciple would argue. Some will say Balaram, some would say Krishna. Then one of the intelligent disciple would ask Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you tell who is like God. And Prabhupada would say, God is Balaram. No, Krishna has nothing to do with this creation. Krishna is enjoying his pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan. The original Krishna, who is Nandanandan, Shyama Sundar, he never leaves Vrindavan. He has promised this to the gopis, that I'm not going to leave you ever. So originally he's there, Shyama Sundar. But who are all these Krishnas then? Right? Once in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, one Brahmin wanted to know about Lord Krishna. He became so inspired by the devotees that he wanted to know about Krishna. So he comes to Lord Chaitanya. Hey Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please tell me about like Lord Krishna. So he himself is Krishna. So what would he like to tell about himself? So he said, I think it's better you hear this from the devotee. And there is one excellent devotee called Ramananda Rai. Go to him and then hear from him. So this Brahman goes to the Ramananda Rai, but then Ramananda Rai was busy inside doing something. So his servant, tells him to please wait, and then my master will come after a while. So Brahman waited for quite long, and then he was like kind of agitated, why he is not coming. So he just walked around and saw behind his house, at the backyard, Ramananda Rai was, himself washing these two beautiful women, young women. He was giving them shower. As soon as this Brahman saw this, I knew this Ramananda Rai is a Sudra. This is a bad guy. I knew this. I shouldn't hear from him. So he goes back to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, no, I don't want to hear from him. I want to hear from you. So what happened? No, he was doing all sorts of like stupid things. I don't want to hear. Did you ever talk to him? Did you meet him? No, I didn't meet him. No, you should go back and hear from him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was insisting. So because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu insisted, only because you said, I'm going back. So he was like with his angry mood, he went back. This time Ramananda Rai was there. Oh, you are a Brahmin. What made you come to this Sudra's house? He was very humble, Ramananda Rai. That's the quality of a Vaishnava. So he said, okay, don't be humble. I want to hear about Krishna. No, you are Brahmin, I'm Sudra. I don't have any rights, any knowledge in front of you to talk about Krishna. Don't be humble. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, that's why only I came, or else I'll never come here. Oh, what? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted me to speak about Krishna to you? Okay, if so, then I will do that. Then he said, which Krishna you want to hear about? Then Brahman said, what? What do you mean? There's only one Krishna. What do you mean, like which Krishna? No. There are so many Krishnas. The original form of the Krishna is Nanda Nandan. And rest of the Krishna is the expanded form. So if you also read like Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, there Rupa Goswami explains the Swarupa and Anya Rupa. There's only one Swarupa of Lord Krishna, that is Nanda Nandan, and remaining is Anya Rupa. And why this Anya Rupa is like created by Lord Krishna? Very interesting. If there was no Anya Rupa, believe me, Rupa Goswami proves that we will never go back to Godhead. We will never meet like Syama Sundar again in our life. It is because for us, we have different mentality, different consciousness, right? Somebody likes Lord Narsingha. Somebody would like, not want to believe in God. Okay, fine. If you don't want to believe in God, I am Buddha. I am coming in the form of Lord Buddha, and I am saying there is no God. Right? So God incarnates for the living entity to somehow, or rather, fall back to Him, so that eventually we can be purified and then go back to the original form, Syama Sundar. Now, these are all arranged by Lord Balaram. These are all arranged by Lord Balaram. So today, Balaram Jayanti, the day that Balaram has, incarnated, appeared in this planet, is very, very important for the living entities like us. I would say, but there is no comparison, but I would say that Balaram Jayanti is in fact more important than Janmashtami. It is because of Balaram we are getting to see or know or connect with Lord Krishna. Okay? So then, of course, Balaram also got married with Revati. This is also a very interesting story. This is Dr. Senapati Prabhu. He's also very, very learned in the Shastra. So I thought let him also speak today, because if I speak alone, then it'll be very monotonous. So having him here, he would also share his lots of stories from his knowledge. Yeah,
Hare Krishna. So, there is a story of Lord Balaram getting married to Revati in Canto 9, and where Sukadeva Goswami describes the forefathers of Revati. So, there is a separate world under the water, and that vast kingdom of water, underwater, and that's known as Anartha. And the king was Anartha, named after the same kingdom. So on that, the descendant of King Anartha was King Kakudmi, and his daughter was Revati. So this very interesting, some kind of a time travel story. So Kakudmi, he looks for the perfect groom for his daughter. He couldn't find in the world. So he thought of why not consult Lord Brahma? So then he takes his daughter and then goes to Brahmaloka to meet Brahma. So in the Brahmaloka, Lord Brahma, he was in a different pastime, enjoying dancing, kirtan, and so on. So he had to wait for some time. And since that specific waiting time is mentioned, later on Lord Brahma says, that waiting time was 27 Chaturyugas back home. I mean, back to earth. And whoever you thought of, the kings that you imagine to marry to Revati, they are not even heard of now. All their descendants are gone. So then he surrenders to Brahma, and then Brahma advised that when you will go back to earth, that time Lord Balaram will be appeared. So get married to Lord Balaram then. And that's the story when they come back to earth, and now there's a description of the heights, So with that age time difference, the height of the people also got shortened. So now back in 27 Chaturyugas before, the height of the people were much taller. And when it came down after 27 Chaturyugas, Lord Brahma, even the Lord Balaram, he was not as equal height of Revati. So then that's when Lord Balaram had to use his plow to bring the height of Revati to his height. And that's how he got married to Revati. That's an interesting story.
Very fancy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible in modern days in any way, no matter what device we use or what technology we use. Right? So Lord Balaram, thank you, Prabhu. Lord Balaram would also incarnate, like in many, many forms, like the famous in the Anantashesh. Anantashesh, by incarnating as Anantashesh, he's always serving Mahavishnu in this creation of this material world. He has thousands of head, serpent heads, and each and every head is like uttering the leelas of the Lord. He also incarnates as Lakshman in Ramayana and serving Lord Ram in all possible ways. And he also incarnates as Nityananda Prabhu when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is incarnated from Krishna. So in many ways, there's always Balaram is always by himself. Now he could have ordered his energy, he could have ordered his subordinates to serve Lord Krishna, but no. He would take the pleasure of serving Lord Krishna by himself in many, many ways. Right? So as we say, Lord Balaram, he is, since he is always serving Krishna, he is arranging the perfect situation for Lord Krishna to enjoy. So that's why he is the origin of Guru Tattva. Right? So now Guru Tattva means that thing which will make one go close to Krishna. Guru Tattva is the energy, or whatever we can say, that thing which will always remind us of Krishna. Now this comes from Lord Balaram, because Balaram cannot stay without remembering Krishna, without serving him. So that's why he is the origin. And any person, anybody, any human being which accepts, which has the Guru Tattva, who possesses the Guru Tattva, is called Guru. So Balaram, Nityananda Prabhu, they become the origin of Guru. Right? So Guru can be, yesterday we talked about like different types of Guru, Bhartma Pradaksha Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and Chaitya Guru, Lord himself as a Chaitya Guru. So there are different categories of the Lord. Right? And then Guru, he can come in a different ways. He can show like different qualities. Yesterday Radhika Raman Prabhu was explaining how Guru empowers the disciple in many ways to serve Lord Krishna. And then I was also giving example of how Guru becomes like very strict and then restrict like someone from serving Lord Krishna because of his not being matured enough. Right? So like that. So Guru can be tolerant. Right? Guru can be really compassionate like Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Now Balaram exhibited in the form of Nityananda Prabhu his height of tolerance when there was the incident with Jagai Madai. You must have all heard the story of Jagai Madai. They were like number one nonsense people of that time, in the era of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was like reading their descriptions, what nonsense they did, and I was like, wow, too much. It was too much. Murder, rape cases, loot, drunkard. They would break all regulative principles. Not even four, maybe so many others like principle. Any principle, anything which is mentioned in Vedas, they make sure that it's broken. They were so like rowdies. They were like rough people. I had like my bad bad, time in my life. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was also like very rough. I did like so many nonsense in my life. I thought I'm a bad guy. But when I read like Jagai Madai, wow, not bad, huh? I was like thinking so positively about my deeds those days I was doing. It's nothing, man. So one senior devotee I was sitting with, he said, if Krishna guarantees that he will come and slap me or kill me, if I become demon, I'm ready to become demon. Right? And then I said, wow, this is a very good concept. Yes, Prabhu, I would also like to become a demon. And then I said, no, Prabhu. To become demon is very difficult. It's very difficult. And then just being a demon, Krishna is not going to come. You have to become number one demon. You have to become super demon. Then only like Krishna is interested. Because there is a rush, secondary rush called Bir rush, chivalry, Bir rush. And then he wants to exhibit that rasa, then you have to become qualified. Because you have to become number one demon. But even if you become devotee, a mediocre devotee, Krishna will accept you because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Right? But then, before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy comes, Nityananda Prabhu has to do that. So this Jagai Madai, somebody told Nityananda Prabhu, if you can make these two brothers chant Hare Krishna, your glory will be heard by the world. Because these are the complete nonsense people, extremely like bad people. So Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, they went, come on, let's go for this mission. So these two brothers were drunk, like with the bottle. They were going out, drinking and going around. And then Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they would come, and Nityananda Prabhu said, hey, you two, chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna and make your life sublime, surrender to the Lord. They were saying, and then these two brothers saying, hey, who are these people who are disturbing our enjoyment? We are trying to enjoy here, and these guys are like coming and telling us all nonsense. So then they wanted to beat Nityananda Prabhu, but this time they ran away. Again, next time he would come to Jagai Madai, and then he want to like make this, make them like chant Hare Krishna. But this time, one of the brothers, smashed the head of Nityananda Prabhu with the pot. Right? And then he was like already like hurt and then down, and then now the news spread so quickly that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know about this. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would appear there and very angry. How dare these people like hurt my Nityananda? Sudarshan Chakra, he was like about to call Sudarshan Chakra and then kill them. So when these like Jagai and Madai were about to be killed, the news spread in the social media of demigods, Yeah, they were also interested. Hey, the Jagai and Madai, the rascals, number one rascals, they are about to be killed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let's go and watch this scene. So they all came with their Pushpak Biman immediately, and then they were watching from above, all this scene going on. And among them were also Yamaraj. Yamaraj, with the help of Chitragupta, he had all their like bad deeds, recorded in the registered, and then he kept it in his godown. And it's mentioned 2 big godown were full of their registers, like all their like bad deeds were registered, and 2 godown. So this Yamaraj was waiting. Now these guys are going to be killed, and I'm going to create a new hell for them. Very special punishment for them. He was so happy. And then what happens next? Nityananda Prabhu himself would catch Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet and say, no. This time you are not here to kill the demons. If you kill Jagai and Madai, you have to kill each and every living entity in this world. Kali Yuga. We are all chota mota, means small, big, Jagai Madai in this world. Here you have incarnated to show your mercy, compassion. So please allow them Krishna Prem. I request you. Right? So one of the brother heard the conversation and quickly realized, we are saved. Oh, these are big people. They are like powerful people. They are God. So one of them quickly, asked for forgiveness from Nityananda, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing that act of surrendering, being humble, he quickly gave both of them Krishna Prem. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them Krishna Prem, one demigod became absent. He was not seen around. You know who was that? Yamaraj. Hey, where did the Yamaraj go? And then they found him on the floor, fainted. What is this? I'm waiting to punish these guys. I'm trying to create like biggest punishment, and then they get Krishna Prem. What is this? It's too much. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his bhajan. Hey, come on, I'm a bad guy. I know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I'm a bad guy. Do you really want me to become like Jagai and Madai? Do I have to be really that bad to get your mercy? Please bestow your mercy. So it's amazing how Guru Nityananda Prabhu can forgive any kind of offense if you are ready to accept Krishna consciousness. That's the compassion of a Guru. And Srila Prabhupada would show that compassion also.
Okay. So Srila Prabhupada, okay, I remember two stories. I'll tell in very brief. So this is a description mentioned in a series of lecture by Harishari Prabhu, and he mentions about Upendra Prabhu. So he was one of his closest servant, Srila Prabhupada's servant. He used to cook for Prabhupada, he used to massage him. And like with these, there were many controversies coming up. So one of the controversies that at that time was related to the moon landing case. Many devotees, they felt like, oh, what Prabhupada is saying about. And gradually there were like some few more controversial topics and his lectures. So many devotees were not satisfied by those lectures. They had some kind of dissatisfaction, and some of them left the movement. And among them was Upendra Prabhu too. So, and everyone knew about this. Like, he was one of the closest one to Prabhupada, and he left. He was dissatisfied, basically. So he left, and so Prabhupada felt sad. And when Prabhupada was back coming to Los Angeles, our temple, Rukmini Dwarkadish, so there is the description, Harishari Prabhu mentions the description like just on the outskirts, on the street, the temple is, just before the temple is the restaurant there, and on the restaurant, the Govindas, he was having some prasadam there. He loved coming to temple, he loved coming to take prasadam, honor prasadam, and he was in the restaurant there. And when Prabhupada came, the entire temple came to greet Prabhupada, to welcome Prabhupada on the street. But not Upendra Prabhu. He was there eating alone in that restaurant. And when Prabhupada was walking towards the temple to take darshan of Rukmini Dwarkadish, and then he glanced to one person who was sitting alone in that restaurant, and Prabhupada felt to go towards that person. So he came there. Now there's a mixed emotion with Upendra Prabhu. He was very ashamed. He was angry also. He was dissatisfied. With all those emotions, he didn't feel to pay obeisance to Prabhupada, and he couldn't confront also. So he was just putting his head down, and he was sitting there. So Prabhupada goes there, and Prabhupada says to him, "Hey Upendra, where have you been?" And he doesn't speak anything. And the next Prabhupada says, "Can you cook for me again?" Because he was one of the great cooks. And on the back were many sannyasis, and they whispered in Prabhupada's ear, "Prabhupada, he's not in the movement. He's not even following regulative principles." And
he's eating meat.
He's eating something like yeah. And Prabhupada, very angrily, he stared at those sannyasis, and he says, "I know what I am speaking." And when the Upendra heard that words, he immediately melted down. So he he kneeled down to Prabhupada's, he grabbed Prabhupada's feet and begged forgiveness. And that was the comeback of Upendra again to the movement. So this is one. Second one is more, this is, I'll just tell in brief the descriptions of how there was one sannyasi and he got married to some Japanese, I guess, a Japanese lady, and they were living in New York Temple, and so not many of them, they were knowing about what happened, the detailed story, the background story, but somehow the news came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada directly came to that temple, and he went all the way up on the top floor of that temple, and so there are many descriptions of this story actually. So Prabhupada, he went directly to the kitchen, he opened the refrigerator, and then he saw there was a meat. This is inside the temple because a priest, a devotee got married to a lady who was not in Krishna consciousness, and for the pleasure of that lady, there was all sorts of arrangement done by that devotee. And what Prabhupada did is an amazing thing. So Prabhupada accepted that because he was one of the pillar of the movement that time. So he forgave him. He arranged the marriage. He got them married by himself. He arranged everything. They were married. She was also given the name. And not only that, he empowered him, the devotee, the Prabhupada empowered that devotee to be the temple president and empowered the lady, the wife, to be in charge of BBT. And this shows how forgiving Prabhupada was. There are many such stories. So as Balaram, as Nityananda, as Prabhu said, so Prabhupada had shown all those qualities in many of his pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. And then sometimes Guru can be strict, chastising also. Right? So Balaram, when he visited, like all the pilgrimage, one of the places he visited was Srimad Bhagavatam stories going on, who is narrated by Romaharshan. And when he came to Romaharshan, he didn't pay respect to Balaram. Everyone stood up when Lord Balaram came, but the Romaharshan didn't stand up. So immediately he took a blade of grass, and then shoot it at. He's God. I mean, he can make anything into weapon. Shoot it at like Romaharshan and killed him immediately. Right? The basis is Balaram felt is not representing Vyasadeva. So each time when we are like not, according to the system, according to the rules and regulations, according to the standard, Guru can also like become very harsh, very strict. But definitely he liberated like Romaharshan, and in his next life he became better. And immediately he also like empowered Suta Goswami, his own son, to continue the story because he was a pure devotee. So like that, Guru can be very hard also. In the form of Lakshman, when there was the incident that they were in jungle, they made like the Banaras, the monkeys, gorillas. They met like the Sugriva, right? Sugriva was the king of the Banaras. So after like having so much of discussion with Lord Ram, Lakshman and his Banaras, they agreed. They agreed to go in the quest of finding Sita Maharani, help Ram. But then there was like Chaturmas. In Chaturmas, there is no fighting, no going around. It's like everyone like sits home, and then they try to go deep in like scriptures and all these kind of things. So they had a promise, after Chaturmas they will go on the quest of finding Lord Sita Maharani, Lord Sita. And then the Chaturmas passed by. The Sugrivas was enjoying at his home with his queens and then all. Then when Chaturmas finished, Lord Ram was eagerly waiting. These Banaras will come and then we'll go for the quest. But Sugriva didn't come. They waited for a few more days. He didn't come. Then Lakshman, he decided, let me go and find out why he's not coming. So when he went to Sugriva, he found that Sugriva was enjoying. He was all he's still enjoying. The time passed. He gave the time, but he didn't come. And when Lakshman went and reminded Sugriva, why didn't you come? The Chaturmasa said, yeah, I'm still enjoying. We'll go slowly. He was still in the mood of enjoyment. Lakshman became very angry. Very angry. So much so that he wanted to kill Sugriva. He was up to the level of even killing like Sugriva. But realizing the power, realizing his mistake, Sugriva quickly asked for forgiveness from Lakshman. And then he said, okay, immediately, from today we'll start everything. Then he forgave. So Guru can be really, really strict, very, very, for the correction of the disciple, Guru can be really strict. And we have to accept that. And I'm sure, Prabhupada goes incident. Or
Yeah, there is very interesting story. How Prabhupada disciplines is the right word. Disciplined one of his disciples.
Actually, when we came to America, yeah, back there in Nepal, parents, they love their kids, and parents would do anything to make their kids wonderful. Sometimes they are naughty kids, and then the parents would use, slapping or little physical punishment. I used to get lots of slap from my mother, because I was very stupid, very, very, very bad boy. I'll tell I'll not tell everything, but today is Balaram's Jayanti. It's not my story to be told, but still, when I was kid, I was curious. I was inquisitive. First time I heard glass breaking, I really like the sound, Wow, I like the sound. Let me try again. I smashed another window, and then different sound came. I was enjoying, and I started breaking other many glasses like that. So when my parents come to know about that, I would not stop. They told me it's bad, don't do it. But many times when I was told and I didn't do it, my mother has to slap me. Then I stopped. It was very painful. Then I stopped, right? But then maybe hundreds of times she would beat me, But then when I became almost about 25 years old, I went to my mother. I folded my hands with my knees, bent knees, I told my mother, thank you very much. Thank you very much for correcting me. If you would not have beaten me, I'm sure the policeman or somebody else must be beating me these days, But thank you very much for correcting me. So as I was telling this story to some of the Nepalese living in America, after the class they came, say, Prabhu, how can you tell this? We are against beating. This is not good. And you, what to talk about beating? You cannot even use the word punishment. You can say disciplining. So I from that point on, I stopped talking about that, and then I started using disciplining word. Very, very pleasant. So that's why we are laughing at that.
Yeah. So as Prabhuji told about the story of Lakshman, how he disciplined Sugriva, this reminds the story of. So there is a description of. I think this is partially mentioned in the book called By His Example by Guru Das, and this is also mentioned very briefly on the book by GBC, this founder Acharya, where Srila Prabhupada's position is mentioned. So this is the description of Guru Das. So Guru Das was one of those early disciples, 3 special couples that were sent to London. So Guru Das was very close to Srila Prabhupada, and they had a very close connection. So he didn't need to wait outside the door. He just can be inside the door to meet Prabhupada. Any other devotees, they had to wait. They had to get permission from the servant. And there were some concessions to his personality, So all were good. So I believe it was the registration of ISKCON in London. And when they brought the paper, the Guru Das brought the paper.
In Mumbai. Registered in Mumbai. Yeah. Registration of Mumbai.
Mumbai, maybe, yeah.
In India.
So when they brought the paper to Prabhupada, the legal document, and it was not, so there was International Society for Krishna Consciousness, but the position of Srila Prabhupada was minimized. It was not mentioned anywhere that he was the founder or he was the acharya. It was just mentioned Swami Prabhupada. Sannyasi. Yeah. Sannyasi. And that's it. That was too much to upset Srila Prabhupada. And since that day, he didn't respond to any of his requests. He completely ignored him. So there are like 4 ways to correct discipline people. Sam, Dam, Danda, and Ved. Prabhupada directly used the Ved one. He ignored him.
The last one.
He ignored him. And he could feel that. So, and in each, like it went on for a few months. And then someday, out of like sheer curiosity, he retrospectively started thinking what mistake I have done. And then he understood himself, the Guru Das. And then next time when he met Srila Prabhupada, he corrected those documents. And that's how when the word founder Acharya came into existence, So he wrote very specifically, founder Acharya, and then His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So this is the story how the position of even Roma Harsana. So Roma Harsana, he minimized the position of Balaram. This is the story, very nice story how Roma Harsana, he didn't stood up when Lord Brahma entered while he was giving a spiritual discourse. And the Lord Balaram position was minimized. Same is the story when Guru Das minimized the position of Srila Prabhupada. And this is how he disciplined him. So, and since then, we got this very nice word, founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki!
Jai. And then finally, Lord Balaram, he's all knowledge. Now, Guru can be full of knowledge, full of information, so much so that he can tell us about anything about the Lord. It's just that it is just that how much capacity the disciple has. There are like lots of leaders, lots of spiritual leaders. Even Jesus said that I have so much to tell you, but you'll not understand. Lord Buddha said the same thing to his followers. There's so much more for you to know, but this is according to your capacity, this is all. So Guru has, so in the form of like Sheshanag, Lord Balaram, he's uttering the leelas of the Lord. Each head would speak a unique leela of the Lord. And the leela which one head speaks, the other head will never speak again. And he has thousands of heads. And from time immemorial, the recitation of the leelas are going on. Right? And then till today, the recitation is going on and there's never been repeated. Now you can imagine how much information, how much like leelas, how much like explanation is there. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, once he said, we should start a spiritual newspaper. Oh, there are so many things currently going on in spiritual world, so many leelas, and we can talk about those leelas, and then, and then we can print, and then it will, bypass all these like material newspaper. He was talking about that, like that. So it's unlimited. Unlimited information has. Even Srila Prabhupada, he had unlimited information. As I was reading Srila Prabhupada books, I had the impression when devotees would say, hey Prabhu, first read Prabhupada books, then only you should read Acharya's books. Finish Prabhupada books. I used to think Prabhupada knew very little. My impression I got was Prabhupada knew very little. He's giving us the basic, but if you want to read about like Radha and Krishna pastimes, you have to read Acharya's books. That was the impression I got. That was, so when I started reading Prabhupada books with that impression, then I was, when first time I read like Acharya's books separately, I was so excited. Jiva Goswami's commentary, then, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's, Baladev Vidyabhushan's, there's like Sridhar Swami's, when we read that, when I was reading that, I thought, hey, these are all told by Srila Prabhupada. In fact, I found that Srila Prabhupada is speaking about the highest form of bhakti which no other acharyas directly gave us. The commentaries of our acharyas is so much as it is that they are talking about when it is karma yoga, the subject matter, they talk about karma yoga. Do the action and renounce the result. But when we read 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada's, in karma yoga, Prabhupada would say, do the action and give the result to Krishna. He's already talking about karma mishra bhakti. Prabhupada is already giving us bhakti, which is the conclusion of all the sastras, all the acharyas' works. So then I realized, the reason why we should read like Prabhupada books is because Prabhupada gave us the essence of bhakti. Once we understand the essence of bhakti, now we are ready to face karma yoga, or jnana yoga, or karma kanda. That's the safety Srila Prabhupada made us by giving so much of information, and in the way that we understand. We means I would consider myself a stupid person. I mean, there is a sloka which explains us manda sumanda, yeah, okay. Manda sumanda manda ye bhagya, no? Yeah, manda bhagya means like we are short-lived, we have low memory. I mean, I forgot the sloka. We have very less fortune. We don't have bhagya. We didn't do any auspicious works. We are completely dependent on the mercy. So Guru comes in very, very different ways. Different like ways that how he empowers us, how he chastises us, how he like educate us. So in this way, like Lord Balaram, through so many devotees, so many wonderful like devotees, gurus, acharyas, they give us the way how we can go back to Krishna, the original one, Shyama Sundar. Right? You have anything about Srila Prabhupada about this book? Actually, we are already finished. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. Sri Balaram ki Jai.